presence in a smile. Love and compassion hand in hand. Forgiveness helps us understand. Infinite threads weaving hearts together, even miles apart. Through the laughter, through the tears, we find strength to face our fears. Infinite threads weaving hearts together, even miles apart. Through the laughter, through the tears, we find strength to face our fears.
Hello again, friends, and welcome back to Infinite Threads. I'm Bob, and I'm so glad you're here today. I want to talk about something truly life-changing. The transformation that happens within us when we fully embrace unconditional love. You know, I've been on this journey now for a few years. I purposely don't keep track of anniversary dates or anything like that because in me, it reminds me of things that make me want to not carry through. You know, it's one of my difficult things. So I don't use anniversary dates or anything like that. But it's been a few years that I've been on this journey. Loving without conditions is more than just a philosophy or a goal. It's a shift in the very foundation of how we see the world, how we see others, and even how we see ourselves. When we commit to this path, we start noticing real, meaningful changes. And while the journey isn't always easy, I can promise you this: it's worth it. One of the first things that happens when we commit to unconditional love is that we stop categorizing people as good or bad. Instead of seeing people as enemies, rivals, or obstacles, we start to recognize them as human, flawed, hurting, and just as in need of love as we are. We begin to understand that someone's anger, cruelty, or selfishness doesn't define their soul. It often is a symptom of their pain, their fears, or the conditioning they've received. And while that doesn't mean we allow harm or accept abuse, it does mean that we stop seeing them as beyond redemption. Another major change is that we stop being controlled by what others think of us. When we love unconditionally, we no longer seek validation in the same way. We don't need to be right to be worthy. We don't need agreement to feel secure. Instead, we live in a way that aligns with love itself, and that becomes enough. Hey guys, I work on this one a lot. I always think that to feel fulfilled, I need to make someone see things the way I do. Of course, that's not realistic, and that, of course, leads to more frustration and pain. So this is one I definitely work on. And let me tell you this kind of freedom is powerful. When you are no longer chasing approval, you begin living more authentically. You find joy in simply being rather than proving. People sometimes worry that loving unconditionally means becoming a doormat, but we've addressed that in several of these episodes. It's not true at all. In fact, it's the opposite. Real love makes you stronger, not weaker. It teaches you that boundaries are necessary, not out of anger, but out of wisdom. You can love someone without allowing them to harm you. You can have compassion for someone without enabling their destructive choices. Unconditional love doesn't erase accountability. It reframes it. Instead of punishing people for their failures, we seek to guide, to heal, to correct with kindness. As we shift towards love, something incredible happens. The world loses its grip on our emotions. Fear, outrage, and bitterness stop controlling us. Instead, we develop a deep, unshakable peace. That doesn't mean we ignore injustice or pretend everything is okay. Anybody that knows me knows that I can't ignore injustice. It simply means we face it differently. We respond with wisdom, not knee-jerk anger. We stand for what is right, not out of hatred for what is wrong, but out of love for what could be better. And in doing so, we become lights in the darkness, not by shouting the loudest, but by loving the deepest. I want to leave you with a challenge today. As you go about your week, pay attention to how you see others. Really pay attention. When someone frustrates you, ask yourself, am I seeing them through the eyes of love or through the lens of judgment? We've done this test before, and it is one to try to train yourself to do automatically rather than something you have to think about. But at this moment, believe me, you have to think about it because we've been taken down and trained many other ways. And this one will take you consciously having to stop and think about it. And when you catch yourself slipping back into old patterns, seeking validation, getting caught in arguments, feeling overwhelmed by negativity, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself, love is the way forward. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope this conversation gives you something to reflect on and, most importantly, something to live out. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode, so be sure to join me then. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Remember, we are all part of this infinite thread, and love is what holds it together. I love you all very, very, very much. And you know what I need? I need you to go pass that on. Later.